Two Fort Smith parents are facing charges after police say their child tested positive for THC. Kelly and Roy Casey are accused of endangering the welfare of a minor. Court documents show that back in February, Kelly Casey allegedly told police she found her child was lethargic and bleeding from his nose and took him to the hospital. Those documents also show that hospital staff determined the child had acute respiratory failure and secondary THC poisoning due to overdosing on the substance. Both have pleaded not guilty.
Why is y'all making something that's not a problem a problem? Indulging in collard greens is not a problem. But when you do it with a house full of kids, that's when it becomes a problem. Y'all trifling asses made burning collard greens a problem. What happened to a schedule? It's two of y'all. Hey babe, can you please hold the house down for 5 to 10 minutes? I'm about to step outside and tap the backwood right quick. Okay babe, that's no problem. But when you get back, I'ma need to step outside and do the same thing. I'ma need to tap the backwood right quick. I mean, at least have a smoking room. I'll be down. Not just one of your kids tested positive for THC, all 5 of your kids tested positive for THC. When y'all showed up to the hospital, the kids went straight to the cafeteria and started eating every goddamn thing. The food bill was higher than a medical bill.
So if a child eats something containing THC, 20, 30 minutes later decides to ride their bike, and then they're now uncoordinated and fall and get hurt or ride out into traffic because their reflexes are delayed.
Them poor little babies, mouth dry as hell. Y'all ain't keeping enough Capri Suns in the house. Y'all gotta put Visine in their eyes before they get on the school bus. The kids sit in the class smelling like mid-grade, masked with cheap cologne, asking the teacher for a snack every 5 minutes, got the teacher concerned about what's going on at home. Like damn, is y'all parents feeding y'all? Is everything okay? And the crazy part is this, the teacher be smoking too, so she know for a fact them kids be higher than mountain lions.
School teacher Samantha Cox arrested on 2 drug charges Wednesday. Student John Rogers says he recorded this cell phone video of his English teacher in an empty classroom handling what police say were drugs.
She tried to hide herself because she wasn't at her desk where we could see. She was on the corner where she thought we can't see her.
Like I said, the teacher be smoking too. She knew for a fact them kids was higher than giraffe eyelids. How much was y'all smoking around that 18-month-old for the hospital to label it as an overdose? That baby ain't gonna never be able to get a job. The mama was not doing airplanes with spoons filled with applesauce. She was airplaning the backwood in that poor baby mouth.
What?
You and the baby watching Coco Lemon matching on the J. I'll be down. The baby got to take smoke breaks during coloring book sessions. Knowing how to eyeball a 3.5 before knowing how to walk is absolutely insane. Smoking around y'all kids like they members of the Taylor gang. You're probably sending your kids on store runs. Here go $20. Get a pack of honeyberry backwoods. And you and your siblings can spend the rest on snacks because I know y'all got the munchies with your high asses. The kids walking to the store, bumping Wiz Khalifa on the JBL speaker, rocking Chuck Taylors and flannels, twisting their hair up trying to get it to dread. These are Caucasian kids, everybody. And the wife got the nerve to say, ain't no way he got into it. We keep everything locked up. And the husband gonna say, there was no THC in the house when the baby was taken to the hospital. The wife lying like hell, but the husband probably telling the truth. There is a good chance that there was no THC in that house when that baby went to the hospital. Because all the THC was in them and the kids, and they probably had to re-up. But turns out they both was lying. It was THC everywhere. They found 11 grams of marijuana, 20 THC liquid vape cartridges, and 2 bongs with THC wax residue on the kitchen counter. There was also a film of wax residue on multiple items in the home. And they ain't just do no regular urine tests on these kids. They did a follicle test. They pulled hair. That hair will tell you a deeper history of THC use than that urine will.
Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office announced today they do not believe Clemens' story because it doesn't match evidence they say they seized at that home. A grand jury indicted Clemens with felony murder and child neglect this week. A police affidavit we obtained says the 4-year-old showed a THC blood level that was, in one doctor's words, extremely high. Here's what the mom told me on the phone before she was charged. Her 4-year-old son was sitting right next to her when he began to show difficulty breathing. She realized somehow that he'd eaten a gummy. She thought it was not going to cause harm and called poison control. Her boy later died at the hospital. Clemens told me the boy suffered from a cardiac episode. She reports that post-mortem, it was determined that he, in the mom's words, had something odd with his heart. What makes this death and arrest unique is that this is one of the first murder charges in the country alleging the involvement of THC gummies.
Y'all was hotboxing with those kids. Open up the car door, all you see is heavy clouds with a dim vision of a car seat. Obviously, these ain't bad people, and they seem like they decent parents. They just careless as hell when it comes to the collard greens. If you gon' smoke around your kids, at least do it outside to avoid that secondhand. But this was beyond secondhand. This was firsthand. The amount of THC that was found in that 18-month-old screams firsthand all day. I mean, the child was unresponsive for crying out loud. He was out of here.